There we go. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Fly Tying Tuesdays here with Carlisle Fly and Foul. Today we're going to be tying a woolly bugger. Super versatile and important pattern, especially for all trout fishermen to have in their box at all times. Super simple streamer pattern. You can dead drift this, you can strip this, you can jig it, you can fish it however you like. All I know is that it catches a lot of fish. So anyway, I'm going to dive on in it today and show you guys how I tie this. Starting off with a size 8 streamer hook and size 3/16 tungsten bead, rounded bead there, and we're just going to put that on the front, and we're going to put on some 0.02 lead wire, and we're going to do about anywhere from 10 to 12 wraps here. That lead wire is going to do several things for us, but it's going to help it sink a little bit quicker, but it's also going to help us keep this bead secured up front. So now we're going to come in with some black thread. Here I'm using GSP 100 denier in black, but you can use 140 denier as well. We get our thread started, we're going to come back up to this bead here and try to make sure that we get that locked into place really well. Make sure that thread wrap, those lead wraps aren't going anywhere, and keep that bead secured. We're going to bring our thread rearward right to the start of the bend of the hook. Now we're going to tie in our tail here. This is just some marabou, and I'm using it in black. And one of the tips that I have for you guys on using marabou is you get all these little pointy fibers here on the tips here. I do like to trim that off, and I'll just kind of pinch it. Very easy like that. And for me, that just makes this tail look a little bit more full. You don't have all those little pointy fibers. So we're going to wet this and then measure. Kind of wet that to help tame it down some. And we're going to use just about a little bit more than a hook shank in length for the tail. That tied in. Bring our thread back. Cut this excess off close. We're going to come in and kind of smooth that out some. Bring it back. Now we're going to tie in some either gold or copper wire. I like to shove that in right up underneath the bead there. That tied in, we're going to bring our thread back to the tail. We're going to make a dubbing loop. You can use chenille, but I like to use a dubbing loop here for the body. Our thread at the front, I'm going to put my dubbing spinner on, and then I'm going to do just a couple of whip finishes here. That way we can bring our bobbin cradle around. Then we'll be able to use the rotary function of this vise. So coming in with some ice dub and peacock black for the dubbing. We're going to put that dubbing into our dubbing loop here and give it a spin. Once I got that spin up, I'm going to come in with a brush and just kind of brush that out some, tease it out a little bit just to make it a little bit more buggy looking. And then we're going to use the rotary function here. Once we get to the end, we're going to tie that off. Two wraps in the back and then two wraps up front, and snip that dubbing loop off close. Okay, now we're going to tie in our hackle feather. Again, I kind of like to make mine just a little bit more webby on my hackle, at least on my buggers. But we're going to trim that off and tie in the stem. We're going to trim that excess stem off, and then we are going to do a couple of whip finishes here. Bring our bobbin cradle back over, and we're going to go opposite the way of our thread wraps for this hackle. And I'll show you why here in just a second. Let's kind of do some open spiral wraps here, and then get it to the end, and we're going to tie that off with this wire. Kind of give your wire back and forth motion to kind of try not to catch as many fibers as you can. Bring it to the front, and we're going to tie that off. The reason why I go opposite on my hackle versus my wire is it's much easier to tie off this wire in the same direction as your thread versus the hackle. So then we're going to get that wire, and we are going to helicopter it off close. We're going to bring these hackle fibers back. Try to keep it going rearward. And we're going to come in with our whip finish tool. Do a 4 or 5 turn whip finish. And snip our tying thread. And we're going to come in and cut this tip off of the feather. There you have it. That is the woolly bugger. Again, I like to make mine just a little bit more webby on these hackle feathers, but you can certainly go a little bit smaller or a little bit more fine than that. You can also make your tail a little bit longer. You can do all kinds of sorts of different things. You know, there are no rules in fly tying, so you just kind of make it like you like it. But yeah, that's how I like to tie these buggers. You can certainly substitute all these materials out and do different things, and kind of tie it how you like it. But there are no rules in fly tying, so you can kind of customize it and do it how you like. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you guys would like and subscribe, and drop me a comment below, let me know what you guys want to see me tie next, and we'll see if we can make it happen. But until next time, we'll see you later.